Welcome back to the channel where we are building a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Yeah. Yesterday we got our animations working better. So like we refactored out our water animations outside of the insert animation class, and we moved it into our map declarations. That only happens once. So it should be a bit more efficient, and then we made some cliffside stuff yesterday. So we are not inserting the animatable water there, but we were testing out what a cliffside might look like with the pixel art we made yesterday. So today is not going to be that long, but I'm thinking we're going to try to hunt this bug that has been plaguing us for a while now, and I'll see if I can recreate it. So ignore that water. The only way I know how well, I don't know how to recreate it, but the issue is it thinks we're walking even though no inputs are being held, and it happens like randomly as I'm kind of exploring, and I'm not sure what triggers it. But if I can get it to trigger here, I can show you what the problem is, and then we can try to fix it, because it's been plaguing us for a while now. If it was more insidious and it was happening all the time, we would have fixed it by now. But since it only happens, you know, randomly, I don't know when it happens, but since it doesn't happen that often, we haven't tracked it down yet. So I'm trying to see if we can trigger it. So, aka Bob, I don't know if you've seen the update. What the fuck happened there? That should not have happened. I have never seen that happen. We're able to just draw our maps now. Instead of typing out which sprite goes where, we're able to just draw them out with this app that we've got, and then we can export them, and then we wrote a little downloader to import them all and put them in the right locations. It really worries me that we just crashed like that. I don't know what would have crashed there. Yeah, so we've got this app now called Tiled, and we can have the whole overworld, and we can draw like a paint program. We can pick which sprite and just start drawing. So it's really useful for kind of building things out. We only have like 20 little sprites, so all we've got is like a lot of forests and roads right now, but we've got 100 unique levels, right? Like it's not just the random sand like we were putting in. And I've got these kind of like placeholders, so like blue goes up to the mountain ice biome. So like that's where the mountain ice range might go, and then the red is up the magma volcano biome or whatever, so that's over there. And then there's the desert down in the bottom right, which will probably take me a little while to get there. There's the desert. So yeah, I'm trying to trigger that error of walking, and I'm not really getting it. Yeah, I don't know what causes it. I'm not seeing it. I know it's an issue still. I ran into it yesterday. Okay, scene 112 is where we crash. I don't know what happened there. Scene 112. Next map, adjacent offset X. There was no next map, so for some reason our next map wasn't being populated. Where do we assign our next map? We do it upon any transition here. Okay, so the only thing I could kind of think of that might be causing that is is if our current map was incorrect, but that's how we're rendering it, so I don't think that's the case. Our next map being nil would mean that one of these transitions weren't executed, but it scrolled off. It scrolled off, and it scrolled over the neutral background color with no sprite, and then it crashed. So it wasn't the transition that it crashed at, it was at the finished transition when it went to go. Next map gets nil, current map gets self.nextMap. I would think that it would have crashed right there. But it said 112, not 122, right? Because there was no next map. Okay, so it's like... That's so weird that this is happening all of a sudden. I don't know. I don't know, do we just play around till we find that again and then I leave this on? Because it was two different quadrants that crashed at. My thinking is like if I leave this debugging text on screen, I can watch the playback later and see some info about where it crashed. But if the game can, like, that would really suck if someone like plays for 20 minutes or whatever and then it just crashes and it loses all their progress. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. We still need to get the spellcasting collisions not colliding with the edge spaces there. It's kind of frustrating that we can't like recreate that bug, you know? Like either of these two bugs we're hunting right now, like the crashing for the next scene as well as the get stuck in a walking animation. I don't know. Oh, there it is. I'm not holding any inputs. If you look at the keylogger down there, if I let go of all inputs, it still thinks I'm walking. So there's that bug. Now it looks like there's a last input. See how like I only press left and it thinks that the last input held is right. I don't know why it's thinking that. But that's the bug. So we need to make sure like, hey, if no inputs are being held, there's no last input upon like a scene transition finishing or something. Okay. And then our other one was crashing, I don't know when. It was on a right transition both times. I don't know how to recreate it. There's a lot of factors at play that might have been causing it. Well, I don't know, just like how this weird bug comes out of nowhere, our walking bug comes out of nowhere based on like some random things happening. It just gets confused when we're scene transitioning, because the hard thing there was that we had to I'm forgetting exactly what was super hard about it. It's that if we're holding left and we keep left held, we would finish the transition and then left is still being held, so it needs a left is down controller to handle that, but then that was, I don't know, the multiple input handling was screwing that up paired with the scene transition. Gosh, I don't know, it's not crashing now. I don't know how to find it. I had like the first day off in so long today. I played so many video games. Why is there water here? That's what I kind of want to know. Well, there's water there because there's water there for some reason. Okay. Okay, well, let's see if we can track down the walking bug, and then we might call it a night. I don't know what to do with that other one. Like, let's look at where our last input is being registered. Last input. Okay. This is just where we flush it. So upon finish shifting, what we're doing is we're setting the player's direction to be the last input. And then we are clearing the input list, and then we're checking for any input, putting that in the input list. Okay. So where do we use the input list anywhere else? Okay. So here, if in the player class here, we're adding the inputs to the input list if it was pressed, not if it was down. So like there's a difference there. Like the was pressed was if it was pressed in the last frame, but if it's held down, that's is down instead of was pressed. So the continuous input is a different function, but we're testing continuous input during the where are we testing continuous input for the input list here? Okay, so I think maybe right here we can say if there's nothing, how would we do if nothing was held down? Oh, I didn't realize we hit 90 followers. That's awesome. Wow, we just hit 90 followers. And then on YouTube, we just hit 100 subscribers, so like, that's cool. I think I want to say if love.keyboard.was pressed. If anything was pressed, actually, yeah, how do we do this? We basically want to set our last input to nil if nothing is pressed or is down. Something, yeah, where are we setting it to nil or something? Hold on, let me see. we want to see where we're setting our last input. So let's do a grep search for last input. I'm in the process of making a new website to host all the Habits of Creature comics. I worked on it a couple hours today. The issue I'm having is putting them into the page. Anything with a video, you know, as you scroll through the carousel, I need the video to start once you finish scrolling, and me trying to figure that out has been really difficult. Try to input a video into the carousel, but only start it when you scroll to it. That's been an issue. So I'm hoping I can figure that out, and then I can make a... I'll be putting it on my findingfocus.art domain and just kind of rebranding Habits of Creature to findingfocus.art instead. So I've got I have findingfocus.productions, findingfocus.dev, findingfocus.xyz, findingfocus.art. So that's the current plan, but it's a little tougher than I was thinking it was going to be. Just things I didn't think about. Here we go. We set it to nil. That's the only time we do it? Because there's a thing here, like if we just play the game and we look at the last input, see how input is getting nil if nothing is pressed. That's kind of already happening. So I'm thinking somewhere in the multiple input handling, somewhere in the... Really? Do I not have that somewhere? It's somewhere in here. I thought it would be right here for player. So I don't see any, like, we have to be setting, if like input list doesn't have anything in it, we might be setting it to nil. Something like that. Or, oh, once we remove it. Okay, if it's not pressed, we remove it. So we might need either a function like this, you know, if it was, oh, yeah, okay. So this is where we're setting it to nil, is we're taking the value out of the input list if a key was released. So something like the last input is not getting flushed somewhere when we release it because it was input during a scene transition or something. So I think that's where the issue is coming in. I don't know of a good way to do it though. Oh, this is wrong. Okay, let's do if love.keyboard was pressed. We want any key being pressed. And we actually want to see if it's not pressed. We want to see if... This is going to be disgusting. If can I do not there like that, or... Oh, it's literally not. If not was pressed left, we've got to do... this is gross. Because we're trying to flush last input to be nil if nothing is currently being held. So we're saying if not press left and right was not pressed. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We need 8 of these. So maybe we can just put them on new lines here and say, and right was not pressed, and up was not pressed, and down was not pressed, and we messed this up. Left, right, up, down. Then we need left, right, up, down for is down. So if none of those are pressed, then we're going to set our last input to be equal to no. Now the shitty thing is like we can't even reliably get it to work. The bug, we can't even recreate the bug consistently, so we can't really test if what we did is gonna fix it. You know, we can hope that, I don't know. I mean, we put in a potential fix. If we play, we'll just keep an eye out for that happening again. I'm really worried about that map crashing, because that was like a complete crash. And if that happens in our game, that's just so bad. Yeah, a little bit of a late stream, Magnetonics. I had the day off, so I spent the day playing games, and then I just wanted to get a stream in there. How's it going, man? Yeah, when I left for school and I couldn't stream for 2 months or whatever, like I was really missing it. Something about the zone you get to be in once you know you're like live, or even just that you're recording it. Because I did almost 300 episodes of this before I even streamed live, and just being home alone and recording it, it put me in the same kind of zone of focus. I'm not seeing that bug sneak up, so we might have fixed it. It's just tough because we couldn't reliably create it in the first place, so we can't reliably test if we fixed it. I'm not seeing the issue, so we might be good. I think I might, I'm gonna go re-export this tiled map here without the water here. I'm gonna go ahead and export that as a global map so we don't have water over there. We could insert the water animations here, but this is just kind of a test, so I'm not too worried about it. What up, Salto? How's it going, dude? Hey, check this out. We've got, actually, I want our fireworks there. Check this out. We've got our water animating. We've got our flowers animating. We've got our spell casting and our geckos and everything. I could show you, I don't know if you've seen the geckos this is all, you know, super template pixel art because we only have very few sprites. But up here are some geckos right there. I don't know if you've seen these corrupted gecko guys. So they'll kind of chase you and damage you. And then you can... Oh, fuck. You can cleanse them with your spells into normal geckos. So we've got that. It's cool now that we can draw our map in this program and just kind of export and import it. So we've got this whole map, and I just kind of put it in some like placeholder biome areas, kind of just because we could, and so that it would be unique every frame. So it's starting to come together. The big things left are, at least in the next couple episodes, is we've got to fix our spell collisions. So like our fire here shouldn't be hugging the wall there. It shouldn't be colliding with the wall. You know, it should be a circle past the wall. It shouldn't get squished when we're close to the wall there. So we'll have to fix that. I don't think that'll be too difficult. And then we got to tweak our pixel art a bit more for this kind of cliffside part, but it is coming together. We'll have to do, I'm hoping to get like a 4-scene grid looking pretty and having unique pixel arts and stuff. And then I'm going to record a channel trailer for Twitch, and then we'll put that in there because Twitch bugs me every time I'm on the page to put a Twitch channel in there, or a trailer. So we'll be exporting a trailer. Once we've got, you know, we've got 4 scenes looking pretty good, we record a trailer, then we'll work on other NPCs. So it's like we've got to do some stenciling so that when we walk in a cabin like this, you know, the cabin door and everything is on top of us. And then we've got to render other NPCs and then have a dialogue system. Then we got to work on saving your progress and inventory. And then we can really, at that point, we could kind of like start to dive into the game design and the level design and just how the game's going to work and everything. God, it's freaky thinking like after like 3 months of work that we're almost ready to get like started on piecing a game together. But we've got all the building blocks, right, to at least get things on screen with your character and draw whatever maps we want. And what's super cool too is like whenever we draw any object that we've declared a collidable map object, we can't walk through it. So anytime we draw a stump, our game knows that we can't walk through stumps. So I don't have to manually code any of that stuff. It knows by the tile ID that we can't walk through it. So wherever we put it, our game knows how to interact with it. So that's pretty fancy. I like that. And then the little flower animations and geckos. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. Yeah, we're going to really be able to get started here soon on the cool like level design, dungeon design, and then I was talking to an audio engineer friend who wants to work and help me do some of the sound effects and stuff. So we've talked about a couple different sound-based mechanics that are gonna kind of be unique for this game. So I'm excited to kind of tinker with that. That should be fun. No. The bug is... The bug is there. I'm not holding anything. I'm not holding any directions, but I'm still walking. So the thing is, it fixed our last input. Our last input is saying nil. But our animation is still jacked. So what we did didn't quite fix it. Oh yeah, he's straight bugging right now. Okay, so I think we need to just dig into like where the walking animation is going wrong. Really? I know we've got a whole class just for the player walk. So we can see here. We can do something like, we've got this state for walking, and we just need to change it. You know, if there's no input list, right here, if there's no input list, yeah, we should be in idle if there's no input list. So I don't get why he was jacked up. He shouldn't have been walking because there was no input list, unless we didn't clear our input list. If the length of the input list is equal to 0, so maybe we can come in here and go to our last, right here, and maybe we can say we're going to set our input list equal to nil, so that there is no value in there. That's not right. Wow. Okay, so I don't know how we would fix this. Because it knew there was no last input, so that wasn't the issue. It knew that there was no last input, but for some reason it was in a walk state instead of an idle state. So maybe if we're right here, maybe we just do a manual switch to idle state right here, and then it might catch that bug. I don't exactly know though. But let's see where we have this. Yeah, if there is a last input, change to walk. Okay, so I think we would need to change. We would say change animation to the idle at, there is no last input, so we'll do that before we flush our last input. We'll say go to idle of whatever our last input was and flush it if no keys are held down. Yeah, it didn't like this. This was nil already. Okay. I don't like hard coding it to down like that, but oh, see, look, if nothing's held, we're facing down, which is just not right. So we've got to really figure out what's going on here. Why is our idle animation not being triggered upon a scene finishing transitioning? I think our input list is all correct. Like, I think it knows our input list was nil, so that's not where the issue happened. I think it might be something in the yeah, I was thinking in the finish shifting. Not sure. Let's take a look at the begin shifting and see if we're doing anything with the inputs there. We aren't. We're not doing anything with the inputs here on the event triggers. So It's got to be in the player walk state, or yeah, it's got to be in the player walk state, I guess. If input list doesn't have any things, we refresh walk. Would we need to have to? We would change our state to player idle. See, why wasn't that working? If input list was 0 in a player walk state. Maybe it triggers if we walk into a screen holding a direction and then let go of it by the time the scene finishes transitioning. That's not quite it. It's so tough. If I could reliably just get it to mess up, I could track down how to fix it easier. We should print up our input list so that when we catch that bug again, we'll have access to what our input list currently is, and verify that there is no value in there. Because it's just too hard to find the bug when we can't debug anything. We have to print that up on screen here. So maybe it is, let's see. So we were printing up the last input for the player, but not the last input list. So we can say that this is player last input. Wow. And then we'll put the actual last input table here as well. Last input, and we'll put in the actual table here. We might have to use the inspect function. We might. Let's see. Well, we gotta put it on a new line. Yeah. Why would that be nil? Last input. Okay. We must be calling this something different. It's called input list. Yeah, it's called input list. Yeah, it's just a table. We do got to use the inspect. Okay. So I'm thinking something's going wrong. When that bug happens, I think this input list actually isn't getting drained. We'll see though. Well, like what sucks is we have to kind of like dig around until we catch that bug again. This sucks. This sucks. How would we... I don't know how to do it differently. Like, other than staring at the code and being like, oh, that's where I fucked up. but it works most of the time. Yeah. It's tough because I don't know how to recreate it. Sorry, I wish this was more interesting. I really do. I don't know what else to try. We just have to dig around until we find this bug. We haven't found that scene-breaking bug in a good while. I have no idea what caused that one. That one's even harder to replicate because it's only happened like twice ever. This sucks. Wow. I don't know how to do this, like, other than redoing the feature and hopefully coming up with a better implementation. I don't know what else to try. Wow. I don't know. I don't know. We can leave this debugging so that next time we do naturally find that bug, we can print this up. We can hold up. I'm pressing 1 to hold up these text values. So like, we can leave this debugging on and just continue playing and programming as normal. And then when we encounter that bug again, we can hold 1 and see if there's anything in the input list. But it's so weird because I don't see what's wrong. Like I see that if nothing is held, we flush our last inputs, and if there's nothing in the last input, we're on an idle. So it doesn't make sense that we would be walking when we're idle. So maybe the other thing to print is what state we're in. If we're in idle or walk state as a player. So maybe that's another thing we can add to the debugging just to kind of help see what's going on when that does mess up. So let's go check out. What's weird is we don't have a way to print what state we're in, as far as I know. Because the play state is a, yeah, I don't know how we would print this other than like setting a global variable once we trigger any I don't know. Let's say that player state is a global variable and it gets to be equal to the string walk on the player walk state init. Then in the idle state, we say we reassign that player state global variable to be equal to walk. And then we go to our play state and we just print this up. Okay, see, why does it think it's in walk state? Okay, walk. This is a little confusing. Well, we've got to change the string to be idle instead of walk. Okay, sweet. Now we've got the player state debugged as well. So by the time we run into that bug again, we'll be able to hold one and see our input list and our player state. I'm assuming player state is walk by the time that bug, because that's the only thing that triggers the animation for the character. So we would be in a player state of walk. So the only thing I can't think of is how come we can't set what up, K-Tronics? Happy 4th, dude. I hope you had a good one. We stayed inside because the pup goes kind of crazy with all the fireworks. But it was a good one. I played a lot of games. I played Hades so much my thumb is sore. I beat Hades today though, so that's a success. I do have this comment that says, don't change to walk if contradicting inputs held. That's good, dude. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. We're trying to find this bug that the player gets stuck walking after a scene transition even though nothing is being pressed, and I can't for the life of me find where it's happening, and it's hard to recreate. I can't even recreate it, so it's really hard to track it down. But we do have what, in the player state? No, it's in the, we search last input. The last input is correct in that it's nil now. I thought that this would fix it. We say, hey, if no key is being held, we go ahead and assign our last input to nil. But then also, if no input is held, last input already is nil. So we can't just change our animation to idle here or change our state. Oh. You know what? Yeah, we don't want to change the animation. We want to change the state. So maybe that can help. I wonder if we can do How do we change the state? State change with state name. So we should be able to say player idle. Change the player's state to the player idle state. I believe it's that. Let's see. It's called entity. See, no, player idle state. It's just called. No, that's the animation. Okay, so where is the actual state? What is the actual state called? We're not even using this state as far as I can see for our idle, but how is that the case? We should be changing it. Let's see the play state. We should be changing it here. Change state player idle. Okay. So that's what we want. Change state player idle. So let's go put that where we just were. We'll do this. We'll do self : change state to player idle. That might fix it, but we can't recreate the bug. So I don't know how to tell if we fixed it or not with that. So I think the game plan is, now that we have the input list and the player state printed on the screen, we'll just continue to play, and if we ever see that bug again, we'll just hold one and then see if our player state is in fact incorrect. But for right now, we can consider it fixed. Yeah, I think the last input is correct. We verified that even during the bug. So the only thing that wasn't correct was the state the player was in at that point. And now we're changing the state. If no input is held, we change the state to idle. We change it to idle over and over and over and over again every single frame, but it does catch it. Something is getting lost in the scene transition where it just gets confused. Okay. I thought I just saw me not move down when I held two inputs, but I could be imagining things. Okay. I'll just consider it fixed, and we've got debugging for when it breaks again. Or we fixed it. So either of those options. Let's go ahead and just take a look at what we've done. Other than that, we have, we added this to where we flush our last input to nil if nothing is being pressed, and we change our state to idle if nothing is pressed. We also added some debugging for the player state, and then we added that to render once we hold one. So I'm gonna take away that. Well, no, I'll leave that to do actually, because it could be wrong, and it's nice to be able to find that code just by searching to do. So we'll get add everything, and then we'll commit with a message saying that we attempted fixing the player walk bug upon scene transition. Added debug info on one to help if still not fixed. I don't know. Sweet. Well, hey guys, I wish everyone had a good 4th of July. I appreciate anyone who came by to stop, say hi, and hang out for a little bit. I hope you guys all have a great night. We're going to raid out to Practical NPC because he's another fellow game dev that's streaming right now. But thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow for some more programming goodness. See you, K-Tronics. I hope you have a good night, dude. Yeah, I'll catch everyone later.